to break into the most heavily guarded place in the universe?
Oh, yeah. You nervous?
No.
Elysium, rated R, August 9th.
Hello, I'm the Universal Critic. I talk about whatever I want, whenever I want. In 2009, I, like many, was blown away by District 9, Neil Blomkamp's directorial debut that quickly became an instant science fiction classic. While I personally find some faults in District 9, namely its somewhat overly dark tone and its somewhat disappointing final act, I still enjoyed it enough to overlook those flaws. Unlike certain other internet critics, but I digress. Now Neil Blomkamp returns to the silver screen with his second film, Elysium. In the year 2154, humanity is strictly divided into a class system. The extremely wealthy live on Elysium, a utopian space station free of violence, poverty, and disease. Meanwhile, the underclass, which is the rest of humanity, resides on Earth, which in this future has become an impoverished, polluted, and overpopulated slum. Sort of like how in every future we see in most science fiction movies nowadays. The people of Earth long for an escape to Elysium, but most cannot afford passage, and so must attempt to enter the station illegally. However, Elysium's defense secretary, played by Jodie Foster, maintains a harsh, shot-on-sight illegal immigration policy, so you can guess how well their attempts to go to Elysium pan out. The protagonist of this film is Max, played by Matt Damon. Max is an ex-con who lives in Los Angeles, which is plagued by rampant crime, smog, and police abuse. Yeah, that's not LA in 2154, it's LA in 2013. Anyway, after contracting a fatal illness, Max is left with a matter of days to reach Elysium, which has the technology needed to cure him of his affliction, and perhaps save the people of the Earth in the process. Easily the most talked about element of both this film and District 9 is the strong social commentary. Elysium deals with a number of hot-button topics, namely immigration, healthcare, pollution, and class warfare. Some may complain that both films beat the audience in the head with their messages, but I don't entirely agree. Elysium and District 9 both have pretty strong messages, but they are almost always tied in with the story and the characters. For example, Max doesn't want to break into Elysium to stick it to the man and liberate the oppressed. He wants to get to Elysium to save his life, and also help his love interest Frey, played by Alice Braga, who has a sick daughter. The whole saving the world thing only comes into play through the supporting characters, who use the situation to their advantages. The same can also be said for Foster's character and Charlton Copley's character. Foster is not played as the leader of Elysium who represents the majority of its people, but instead as a hardliner who is not trusted by Elysium's far more moderate leadership. It's not that the leaders of Elysium are extremists who care only for themselves, it's that their system of government is being manipulated by one extremist who cares only for herself. So, the social commentary is there, but it still works in its own world. So it still works within the context of the story and setting, so it's not just the message, it's still this world and the characters it creates. Overall, I give Elysium a big screen rating. The visual effects are every bit as dazzling as District 9, albeit a bit more polished and not as gritty as that film. But the story and social commentary aren't quite as strong because the characters aren't as fleshed out as they were in Blomkamp's first film. However, there is still enough character to generate interest, but only just. It's like I said in my Pacific Rim review, there's just enough there. Only just. And in my opinion, those elements are more than enough to create a compelling and thought-provoking film, even if it is more conventional and mainstream than District 9 was. I'm the Universal Critic. I talk about whatever I want, whenever I want,